I've never
Van
seen
Halen?
them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw them on their first tour opening for Black Sabbath at Richfield Coliseum, and that was a night. Those guys were full of piss and vinegar and blew Black Sabbath off the stage. Ozzy comes out shirtless with a belly.
Meanwhile, DC was in the audience shirtless with a belly.
Well, sans belly, please.
Oh, well, hey, I don't know what you were doing,
But
but I know you were shirtless.
I saw him twice.
For you.
Okay.
I saw him in 80 and 82.
I
Okay,
saw
so
the 5150 tour.
Okay.
I know somebody, an ex-friend of mine she used to travel around and would go from gig to gig. We could call her a groupie.
Oh,
But she never got close to the band, but she knew the road crew rather well. I'll leave it at that.
that was the line of demarcation she could not get past, the road
Right.
crew. And
Well, the road crew were pretty fun though.
well,
you
but
know.
they weren't Van Halen. But Ken
They were
White
close enough.
Yeah, Ken White says, DC, I was there, and I definitely agree with you. And I'll tell you what, if Tony Iommi could kill if looks could kill, Ozzy would have been dropped right on that stage that night because he was pissed.
And I think this song right now, they used to play it on the concert and people stand up and scream and everything. And it's a song about living in the present moment. It's a very good lyric. I really love this song. So that's my number 10 on my top 99 lists. And let's go to number 9.
All right.
And that's, of course, coming from this album. This is Michael Jackson's Black or White. And that video, Black or White, was maybe the first. The video is so good and the music is good. And I think Black or White is maybe one of the best Michael Jackson songs. But of course, Thriller was also good. But Black or White was a good one. And this album here was maybe the last good Michael Jackson album. So that was a real song that we all dance to on when we go out and have fun. And so that was a good song and a very good video. And I think the guy from Home Alone, he was playing in the beginning of this video. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was in the beginning.
What guy from Home Alone?
Yeah, this. Yeah.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
Well, he was spending the night
shouting and it was explode and
Michael kicked Emmanuel Lewis.
Jackson a lot.
Yeah, he kicked Emmanuel Lewis to the curb. What the?
Yeah, so that was number 9 on my list.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can go to number 8, and this is the album here, Bob Seger. And Bob Seger, I really like Bob Seger and this group, but I know this guy has some problem with flying, so he have never have very seldom fly over to Europe and have a concert in Europe. So I think he drive around and have concert in America. But Bob Seger, I have all the album from Bob Seger, and this album, The Fire Inside, it's an okay, good album, but the song, The Real Love, is a very good ballad, slow song, and I wish I want to see Bob Seger live, but if I think it's retired. I don't think he's have more concerts anymore.
No, I think he's done.
He's done. But Bob Seger is a good American AO rock, good rock and roll. So that's both my number 8.
All right, cool. Excellent. Starting out top notch, Yvonne. All right, let's throw it over to Mr. Todd Evans for his 3 picks.
All right. Well, I gave mine away because it's behind me there. My number 10 is Rush, Roll the Bones. And I picked the title track because I think after all these years, I think the title track is still the most solid track on this album, even though I think the whole album is good. The keyboards, the very subtle keyboards during the chorus of this song, Roll the Bones, is a great example of how you can add textures to a song without going overboard. And so people tend to go a little cuckoo bananas when they hear too many keyboards on a Rush song, but it's done really well during this song. I think it's one of their strongest songs. And I think the rap part of it is amusing and, again, not to be taken too seriously. So that's my
Well, the
number
thing-
10.
Well, the
Go
thing
ahead.
is, Todd, with that rap part, I don't know why people are so worked up about that. I
Yeah.
think
I'm
not
that's like
either.
one of the
I've never
highlights
been.
of the whole track.
Yeah.
I've never been worked up.
I'll save my mojo on that for later on. But yes, what
Totally unexpected and really creative, and it really
But ain't
if it's
that
the first time you
Rush?
heard it was
Yeah.
it was
But
great.
you know,
I think
it
it's great.
was of the time. No big deal. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
But I still think a lot of people disagree, but I still think Roll the Bones has the strongest chorus on that album. And then my number 9 is Genesis, Driving the Last Spike from We Can't Dance. One of their last kind of longer songs to feature Phil Collins, and I think probably melodically the highest quality. Fading Lights on that album is also good, but I think Driving Last Spike's a little better. It's an interesting story, it's a topic that nobody really talks about very much in progressive rock, building the railroad, and really, really simple Tony Banks melody, almost very, very simple, but very effective. And so I like Driving the Last Spike a lot. And then my number 8 is from the album World Outside by the Psychedelic Furs. And this is a song called In My Head. And it's not one of the songs that anybody thinks of when they hear this album. It wasn't a single, but every once in a while, I think Richard Butler has a really good, big gift for melody. And every once in a while, he has a song that just comes out and you just kind of go, wow, that's just a really good song. And In My Head is that for me. It's always been my favorite track on that album. And this is when they came back out after taking a little break as a 6-piece. And so that was kind of cool. And this is when they came back out after taking a little break as a 6-piece. I just heard myself echo back. Did anyone else
That was
hear
a
that?
loop.
I don't know what happened, but I think I
That was
just had a outer body experience.
Who is that talking, and why is he saying the same thing I did?
I was guilty.
I did not hear it on my end.
I'll
Look at
see.
that Helliger test for
I'll see if it's
echo.
my fault. Yeah.
I don't know what
yeah.
happened. You've got headphones. It's not you. Yvonne's got headphones. Must be someone without headphones. It's fine. I don't hear anything else. All right, let's keep
All
going.
right, good.
Anyway,
That's it for me.
that's it for Mr. Evans. All right, let's throw it over to Mr. DC Tune Time. Right? Am I right?
Yes,
All
yes, you are correct, sir. Good evening, folks. This was a particularly strong year for me, and some of my all-time favorite artists made my top 10. And that's always welcome for me as we move further and further away from my musical sweet spot, that time period in my life that formulated my taste. And always, whenever possible, I start with my Todd Rundgren pick. And this year, it will be a performance selection. And I picked the title track from the album Second Wind. This is an epic composition in theme and scope, clocking in at over 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It's kind of cinematic with many time changes throughout. Lead background vocals and instrumentation all shine. And this song makes you think, as a lot of the songs of this year do. I know Yvonne mentioned the Van Halen tune. I had that coming up a few other times on my personal list as well. Lots of thought-provoking tunes that were very catchy this year. Like I say, Todd's music can be many things: poppy, rockin', soulful, but the cherry on top here, as I said, is the message. And it's one that old DC has taken to heart. As you move through the latter stages of your life, don't get complacent. Live, make a difference, take a stand for what you believe in, and always strive to be a better human being. This is really a stellar tune on all fronts, and this is a very good album by Todd.
Yeah.
All right. Next, let's go for a rockin' tune with an iconic riff. This song sets a disturbing mood that does not let up for the whole song. It's Metallica with Enter Sandman. And it starts with that slightly altered acoustic-like but metallic riff, and then builds until we get this bombastic and disturbing metal riff that knocks your socks off. Or at least that's what Dick Smallwood says. And the Hetfield vocals are delivered in menacing and ferocious style. And it really sets a mood here, and it's not for romance. And on top of that, we get a passage of a child saying his nightly prayers to be protected with all this unsettling atmosphere surrounding this little kid's prayer, along with Hetfield's otherworldly entity repeating the lines. It's a really creepy, just like with One, when these guys wanted to create edgy, creepy, they didn't half-ass it. So great job, Metallica, on this one. Now for my third pick, we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum, and with a ballad. It starts with beautiful strings, and it sounds like a pop standard from the 1940s. It's from the album Woodface, and it's Crowded House with All I Ask.
Absolutely brilliant.
Beautiful. It's from another era, but it's just such a beautiful song. The melody, the song's propelled by strings and an acoustic guitar, and when those background vocals kick in, it gives me chills. I don't know if this is Neil or Tim taking the lead. Schnee would know, like right off the top of his head, but just beautifully done. And that's it for my first round.
All right. You know what? Ernesto has a good point. What did you do to your microphone? Because you're totally very clean and.
It's not my mic. It's every time when we're not on StreamYard, when we take a Zoom presentation, there's some setting in there that, because I didn't change anything, but I notice every time we do a Zoom, I sound like I'm at Cape Canaveral. So I don't know what's
weird.
We got to figure it out.
You sound good. Well, we can set up something and we can troubleshoot.
Okay, it's something that when we get on Zoom, I have a setting wrong.
Wolfpack, you are 100% right. The Crowded House catalog. I mean, the late 80s, the 90s. Oh, I love all of it. I love all of it.
That album is on my wish list. I don't have it on vinyl, so I have it on CD, but I want it on vinyl.
That's my favorite Crowded House album.
I don't, Yvonne, we could go into this vinyl CD crap, but the original CD sounds great. You don't need it on vinyl just because all the other kids are buying it on vinyl. Yvonne, you're fine.
This is
if you got that, if you got that CD that you bought at the dollar bin, you're fine. It sounds great.
Yvonne's got to go out. He's got to go. Now, come on, folks.
I am just saying.
If it was Tim Curley, it'd be on 8-track, so go figure.
You know what, Sydney? I am not going to pick Kylie Minogue. I can guarantee you.
Maybe not music-wise. Oh, she's a pretty gal.
All right. Eric says it's Tim Finn singing the vocal on that.
Thank you, Eric. I thought it wasn't Neil, but I wasn't sure. So thank you, sir.
I got his solo album, Tim.
Kyle says peer pressure, Yvonne. Don't. That's bullshit, Kyle. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Jeez. All right, let's keep going. BM Bolt, you are up.
All right. I was gonna say that when we were doing these before, like the songs I would pick, they'd all be like top 10 songs for me. They were 10s. They weren't top. They were 10s. You know what I mean? And now they're like, well, some of these are like 9s or maybe 8s because I don't find that many 10 songs. But I'm gonna start out with. I'm gonna go on the Soundgarden. Let's see.
What the hell album is that?
Yes, the Outshine track. I got the actual. Grant, do you have this one, the 2-disc version?
I do not.
Gotta have that.
I don't know. Yeah. What's the detail? What's the deets on that?
Oh, it's got like I think 4 or 5 bonus tracks on it. Yeah,
not even familiar with it.
They do it Into the Void by Sabbath with different lyrics, and Girl You Want by Devo.
Evidently,
she's a politician. Anyway,
you've struck a chord with young Webb. Look at him; he's all
okay. Yes,
3 exclamation points.
But yeah, Outshine. This was really my introduction to Soundgarden. I hadn't heard them before this, but this track, it's got that. It feels like Sabbath. That riff to it. Da, 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 da. Oh, it's a great track. But yeah, so we're gonna go with the Outshine off of that. My next track is I don't have that one, but Grant's got the picture.
I've got it.
I went with a Macaulay Schenker song. I think last time, it might have been whatever year it was, but this year I'm going to go with When I'm Gone. It's a strong power ballad. The album didn't do a whole lot at all, but they did some good power ballads. I know Johnny Metal picked a song of theirs, I think, prior to this as well. Robin McCauley's got a great voice, so I'm going to go with that, that album. And then
go ahead. I'm ready.
Picking fewer and fewer instrumental guitar songs, but I still got one or two on my list here tonight.
Go ahead.
This is off of this guitar compilation that was on Shrapnel, and it's Ron Thaler, better known as Bumblefoot. It's called Chopin Fantasy. This is one of the craziest instrumentals I've ever heard. It's all over the place. You got to hear it. I mean, it's this real classical thing, but then he starts going off and doing all this bizarre stuff that only Bumblefoot would come up with. You got to hear that track sometime if you're into instrumental guitar stuff. So
I'm going to go on a tangent. Did anybody on the panel see that? We've probably talked about this before, but I got to bring it up. Did anyone on the panel see the Yes Tour where Bumblefoot was filling it? Well, doing the John Wetton part for Asia, and we had Steve Howe playing. It was Asia basically. He was absolutely phenomenal.
He was.
Bumblefoot had it down. He sounded like John Wetton. If I close my eyes, I swear to God, it was Asia in their prime. I swear to God. He was so phenomenal. And, he can play and he can sing. And, it was great. And I'd never seen Asia before. But, it was good to see, Steve Howe playing and everybody playing. It was Carl Palmer. It was Asia.
Jeff Downs. Yep.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was great. Man, glad I went and saw
By the way, Mr. Bolt, we count on you to bring the solo guitar tunes. So
yeah, that's what your job
is. It's starting to die out by this time, but there's still going to be an occasional one here and there. So,
all right.
I agree with Todd because when I'm putting together my list, I know the general taste of everybody on the panel, and I will step aside when I know he'll bring that up.
I'm done with Rundgren.
This person. Because I know a couple artists that I would have picked, I know are going to be picked by a couple panelists here.
I've got one that I left off for that reason too.
Yeah.
Eric, you're 100% right. Not easy to replicate Wetton, but Bumblefoot hit it out of the park. Hit it out of the park. I don't want to be like all giddy, but it was phenomenal. So I'm a fan right there. All right, cool. Mr. Bolt, thank you very much. Let's throw it over to Johnny Metal and see what Johnny Metal has for us tonight. Johnny Metal, go ahead.
Rest in peace, Jeff Halverson.
Oh, Halverson. Okay, we should mention that real quick.
I just want to rest in peace. So go ahead, Grant.
Well, I already talked about it on the show last night that Jeff Halverson, who was a Patreon member on the Contrarians, we've done many shows with Jeff. Very knowledgeable. If you remember Jeff, he was the guy. His cats would appear. He always had all the amps behind him.
Yeah.
And he was a guitar player. He had like a guild. We were taught guitars, but he was so great. And then I was looking at the shows, and he hadn't really been on the Contrarians for like 5 months. And, the way we do it on the Contrarians, if you're a Patreon member, you can sign up for stuff. But evidently he was in the hospital. And Sydney is the one. Thank you, Sydney, for tipping me off to that. But he passed away like on May 21st. I don't know what happened, but he will be missed because he was one of us. He was a big supporter of so many channels. I mean, he was a supporter for mine, and I know there's a lot of other channels. He'd go over to Schnee's channel too, and he would always appear like on the Tuesday show. So he will be missed. So,
so there you go. So yep, Jeff, I hope you're enjoying our picks for 1991. So with that being said, my first pick, maybe in this case, It works for him. I'm going to go with the 1991 power ballad from Mr. Osborne, Little Mama, I'm Coming Home. Co-written by Lemmy, of course. You get a little nice little chicken picking kind of thing going on with Zach, but just a tender ballad. Just talk about really coming off the road and wanting to be home for a while. But I think in this case, Jeff, I think you are home. So God bless you, brother. Next one I'm going to go with is going to be another ballad. However, this one's going to be a little bit more on the sillier side. And this song actually appeared on the Attack of the Killer Bees EP compilation, whatever you want to call it, from Anthrax, Delibenekafesin, or NFB. If you read it spelled backwards, you can figure out what it stands for. It's just a silly 2.5 minute ballad, but I dug the heck out of the song. It's probably one of the first songs I really tried to play and sing along with on guitar back in the day. So it has a very special meaning for me. My next one, kind of a ballad, but kind of maybe a dreamy feel with some melodic shred going on. So let's go to Mr. Big with some Green Tinted 60s Mind. I could have said To Be With You. I could have said Daddy, Brother, Lover, and Your Little Boy. I could have said Just Take My Heart. But there's something very special about Green Tinted 60s Mind. Paul Gilbert solo wrote in song. Got some nice nice melodic shred parts going on here with some different things he was doing, but just a really dreamy kind of feel song. So it fit well. And so there you go. I love Green Tinted 60s Mind. Great song.
All right. Cool. Excellent.
There you go.
What is happening over here? The Mrs. Loves to Be. What are you talking about, Byron?
The
To Be With You was a slow song from that album. Very,
okay.
To Be With You, very good song.
Which panelist is she speaking of?
I probably talking to me.
It's my favorite song.
I mean, it's my show.
All of us
Three of us.
My
apparently.
show. She's
Well,
a big fan. I'm sure she's talking to me.
I was the one that was talking about Mr. Big, so maybe she was talking about me. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. But.
Could be. All right. The song Calm. Oh, wait a minute. Stephanie, the song Calm Down, Grant. Well, you know, it
simmer
doesn't
down,
take-
Grant. Simmer.
All it takes is a breeze. All right, here we go. All right, let's throw it over to John the Music Nut. John, nice to see you. Let it rip.
All right. Thank you. Rest in peace, Jeff.
Exactly.
My number 10 is a band that I discovered on this album. This is one of the deeper cuts off the album. This is from Sailing the Seas of Cheese. This is Primus, American Life. This is a very cool tune, very mid-tempo, but as is the want for Primus, it was very eerie and spooky, and you have Les's bass way up front. Les, as soon as you hear him, you know him. He has a very distinctive bass tone.
Oh, yeah.
And excellent track here. Well, again, it's a deep cut, not as big as Jerry Was a Race Car Driver or Tommy the Cat. Very cool tune. That's my number 10. My number 9, this was the first album that I heard by the Meat Puppets, and this is all for Forbidden Places. This is the opening track, Sam. They made a video for this, and I saw it on 120 Minutes on MTV. Remember that show? But Sam is really, really cool tune. It's very fast-paced, and the two brothers, Kirkwood, are singing the lyrics. Well, they're speaking the lyrics at a very, very fast pace, but it's very, very catchy. Very, very cool tune. And as is the rest of the album is very good as well. This is probably, this is when they finally went over to a major label, and then they would hit a few years later with Backwater off of Too High to Die. So that's my number 9. My number 8, this one's for Todd Evans. Please check out his channel, The Recurrent with Todd Evans.
Holy crap.
Thanks.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Right.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to this then.
That's on my shirt. And this is when I discovered Toad Wet Sprocket off of the album Fear. This is one of the deeper cuts, the third track, Butterflies, which is very distinctive in its bass line and its very repetitive bass and guitar line. Very, very cool song. There were a lot of singles off this album that got a lot of airplay, whether it was on Top 40 or on college radio. Butterflies is really cool, and I saw them do this live. This is an excellent track. It really takes you in. It's one of their pretty close to a rocker by Toad Wet Sprocket standards, but this is a really cool tune. This is my number 8, Toad Wet Sprocket, Butterflies.
Toad is a good band, and no one really even, I hate to say that, but no one really cares anymore. But they had a good run.
Yeah,
They got a
Dulcinea
lot of
is a great album.
great
Dulcinea,
album.
and the one after that, I think it's called Coil. Is that right? I like
Coil is great too.
Yeah.
Wait till we get in later on. There's, you know what? When I was doing this whole thing, I was thinking, God, we're getting a 91. Jeez, am I going to be able to pull anything out? But once I looked at it, I went, shit, 91 was a great year.
I did the same thing.
I
I
was
was like,
stunned.
oh no, 91. And I looked and I was like, oh, I got like 40.
Yeah, I like 91. 91
Agreed.
was great. Anyway, all right. Sorry, sorry, Todd. Jesus. Sorry, everybody. I can't keep track. John,
Okay, we're done.
is that what it was? That your third?
That was his third.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
up, Grant.
Shit. All right, let me do mine.
That's your
All right, God, I can't keep track. Okay, let me scroll because there's a lot of graphics. I have to find mine. Oh, okay, here we go. This will be good. Based on kind of going off of Toad the Wet Sprocket, hell, you know what? I might as well lead off with this because I saw John's pick and I went, God darn it. John the Music Nut is really keyed in. I'm picking Toad the Wet Sprocket, All I Want from Fear.
Just missed for me.
I
Love that song. Running loop song.
Running
Love
loop
it.
song. This was probably the biggest hit. Would you
Yes.
say? Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I love that 3 album stretch that we just talked about. I don't think they could do any wrong, and it's too bad that this band doesn't get a lot of attention now, because for 90s stuff, which the whole 90s, ladies and gentlemen, you know everybody's going to hold 90s crap. There's a lot of great stuff in the 90s. This is one of those things, and I think this band should get a fair shake. Go out and check out some Toad.
Hey, Grant, I don't know if you know of this, but I was reading an article about these cats, and All I Want was added at the last second. And they didn't think it was, they just added it on because they needed another. How could you listen to that and not know you've got gold?
I don't know.
What do I know?
There was the 90s,
Now
ladies. A lot of cocaine.
They did do a unique version of Rock and Roll Night, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So there you go. You can't. That's all good. All right. My number, I kind of switched up my order. It doesn't matter. I really didn't number these. I'm going to go with my next pick. I'm going to go with School of Fish. 3 Strange Days. Now, this was just, they only put out two albums. But I really like that. This kind of defines the whole 90s for me. It's catchy. It's good songwriting. You've got distorted, buzzy guitars. What's really sad is that they disbanded after their second album. This is the first album. And after that, of course I didn't bring my notes up. Idiot. I'm just going to wing it. The lead singer, the front man, put out some solo material, but in the early 2000s, he developed testicular cancer and passed away. Then the band remade this song, the remaining members, but it's kind of it's just kind of sad. I don't want to bring everybody down, but it's kind of sad. But I think that this song, it's like a one and done song. They never had any other success, but it's catchy. I think it's great. I like it. So I can return to it. So I don't have a problem with it. All right. My next pick, I'm going to go. Oh my God. This is my favorite off of this record. This is not going to be the first time that you see this album tonight, but I'm going to go with REM, Near Wild Heaven. Now, Out of Time's one of those REM albums that you can find in the dollar bin. Now, I don't know why. Probably because it sold a lot.
There's so many. Yeah.
Monster, as we all know, is the #1 dollar bin REM album. This might be the number 2, but this whole record, as far as I'm concerned, I probably think Automatic for the People is the peak. You can argue with me on that, but this is close to, I think this is close. I think maybe Automatic for the People may be more cohesive. But this has a lot of great songs. This song has Mike Mills has taken the lead vocal on it. There's something just captivating by this song. I think it just sounds great. I wish Mike Mills would have taken more vocals. But he's great on backgrounds. You know, the way he can harmonize with Michael Stipe. I love it. I love this whole album. I could have picked the whole thing, but I'm going to go with Near Wild Heaven just because it's Mike Mills. And I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal. I love the whole record. So there you go. There's my 3, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Wolfpack. The hits detracted from REM. Their non-hits were better songs in general. Well, Losing My Religion came off of this record, and I don't think necessarily that's the best song on the album. That's the one that I would listen to the least. This, could listen to it all the time. I think it's Automatic is great. Yep, 100%. All right, let's keep moving. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and we got 64 people. Let's get it up to, well, last night I had 70. If we can get it up to 70, I can be happy. But I do appreciate everybody here. Let me know what you think. I'll try to get to everybody's comments. Al, we may see some material issue here tonight. I'm feeling it. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's throw it over to Yvonne. Yvonne, what's your next 3?
Yeah, you don't need to change so much to your graphic, but I have put up a very positive song from R.E.M. This is the most positive song on this album, Shiny, Shiny, Happy People. And this song is, of course, a positive song about have a good life, enjoy it with other people and everything. And when you get older and older, you always remember this thing in your head that you not will live forever. So when you live, be positive and spread joy around you, because I think a lot of people must think about it, and especially today in this world politic war thing we have around us. So this Shiny, Shiny, Happy People, I really love this positive song from R.E.M., Out of Time.
Yvonne, is that an original?
Absolutely.
Is that an original pressing?
Yeah, this is my original, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one too.
Yeah.
Didn't Stipe just absolutely hate that song though?
I'm not sure. I'm not expert.
Seemed like I read about that, and I think Sesame Street approached him to do a parody of it with Happy Furry Monsters or something like that, and he was like all the more welcome to quick do it. So there you go. But yeah, I feel like I've always heard he hated that song for some reason.
Okay. So that's next song is gonna be a real good dance floor killer song about a guy that also is an actor, Marky Mark, and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibration. This song here, and this is the 12-inch version of the song. And it's a funky, good song, and Marky Mark, he had this group. I don't know if he made so many records, but this was a good. He made a record album also, and this song here was a big hit. And Marky Mark also is a good. He's a good. Mark Wallenberg is a good actor also. I remember him in Boogie Nights. Was it the movie Boogie Nights?
Boogie Nights. Yeah,
that was a fun movie. In his lead. So Good Vibration, good dance music from the 90s, because the 90s, when you're thinking about music to dance to, was terrible. So in the beginning of the 90s was okay, but then it gets worse and worse and worse for me because I love, of course, disco and pop and everything. So
but we have Yvonne here, Christian, because we want to take in all different types.
Yes.
We have a big, we don't discriminate here in the Warehouse.
Yes, sir.
We want to be truthful. We're just trying to turn people onto it. So it's all
life's
good.
Rich tapestry.
100%. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Stephanie, if wait a minute. Oh, Stephanie likes that pick.
That's
Stephanie,
nice.
she said that looks like Byron is like falling asleep. Maybe you should come downstairs and give him a little nudge. Dirk Dingler had a 12-inch. Oh well, bring
He's
down
not that asleep.
He's not that asleep. He's thinking about Dirk Dingler.
I think that's
All
Spirit
right,
Blossoms.
cool. All right, we'll keep it going. Thank you, Yvonne. I love it. Great pick. All right, keep it going. What you got next?
Yeah, this is the 212-inch of the same song. This is Get Off with Prince and the new power generation. And of course, it's coming from this album. This is the vinyl. You're showing the CD, I think, on the screen.
Yeah,
But
well,
this is the vinyl. So this version here, I think it's a lot of long version of this song. It's maybe one version is 15 minutes, but Get Off is the real dance banger song. So I remember I was dancing and flirting with girls in 1991, and then of course I met my first wife and in 1991, in the end of the 1991. So it was a fun year on the dance floor also. So that was my last.
Right. DC, did you ever dance to the song Get Off back in the day?
By that period of time, DC had moved on to suburban life. Was not hitting the clubs, had lawns to mow and other such tasks.
Well, Yvonne's still hitting it. So
Yvonne was still
right.
hitting it.
Of course, Prince is one of my favorite artists, maybe top 3 artists on solo artists. So I have so much stuff of him. So, and I saw him live 2 times also. It was fantastic. He never had the same show. He switched new shows and new songs on each show. So it was fun.
I bet Byron does like Marky Mark. He just won't lead. He just won't. Do you like Marky Mark?
I don't know. I don't think I've heard him, but my wife might have something of his in her collection.
Well, if she likes
She's
it.
a huge New Kids on the Block fan. That's pretty damn close.
All right. Well, it was of her era. All right, cool. Thank you, Yvonne. Excellent. Let's throw it over to Mr. Todd Evans, ladies and gentlemen, for his next.
Okay,
3.
well, my next 3 are not going to be as much fun as Yvonne's were, but
Yvonne's are pretty fun.
They're pretty fun. I'm going to come back to this album, and I know I'll get some support for this from the album Second Wind by Todd Rundgren. I went with the ballad because I tend to go with ballads because I'm kind of a wuss that way. But I absolutely love If I Have to Be Alone. Fantastic vocal performance by Todd, possibly his best vocal performance. And he did this album with a big ensemble, and so there's strings and keys, and it's a big arrangement, and it's just a beautiful track. And so that's my pick from Second Wind. Second Wind, the title track is also, that was a contender for me. So and then my next one is Simple Minds and the song See the Lights from the album Real Life. Simple Minds, by this time, after Once Upon a Time, I feel like Simple Minds became really less consistent, but every time they would release an album, there would be like 1 or 2 songs on it that were just over the top great. And this is one of them. And this song was quick to capture my heart because it has orchestra chimes in it. And anytime a song has orchestra chimes in it, I'm all over it. So See the Lights is a beautiful song. If you've never heard it, it's really great. That whole album is pretty good. But
good pick. I have it on vinyl. I forgot that, but it's a good pick.
Oh, I would love to have that on vinyl.
Yeah, I have that on vinyl.
And then my next one is by Electronic. And I almost picked Get the Message from this album, but I decided to, I have one here too. I decided to go with the track Some Distant Memory. And I went with it because it's this really nice kind of mid-tempo groove going throughout the song. But then the last minute of it, it becomes this swirling orchestral, beautiful thing. And it just changes and becomes this really over-the-top, beautiful track. And it's always been my favorite from that album. And so I went with Some Distant Memory from the Electronic self-titled album. That whole album is great.
Awesome.
I wish the 2 that came after it were as good as this one was.
Wolfpack, you've got a great comment. They got the best drum sound on Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That record sounds good.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
Bob Clearmountain, I think, is responsible for that.
Yeah, but that record, it still sounds good.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, it came out in the 80s, but I think it works. I think it's.
I thought it was funny when they remastered it and it sounded the same. I was like, well, still sounds good. I guess you hit a limit and you can't improve it anymore.
Look, he loves that record. All right, Keith coming in for the win. Love Ghost Dancing on that album. Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's great. Ken says it's their best album, no question. Surprised we haven't done a Simple Mind show on the Warehouse, but there's plenty of time, unless I die, which I'm not planning on.
Don't die.
I won't die. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Evans. Awesome picks. Let's throw it to DC Tune Time.
Okay. Well, we all know how much I like the funk. And what could be a better pick than a song with funk in the actual title from Pornograffiti? It's Extreme with Get the Funk Out. You got that solid bass line and beat. Then comes that scratchy guitar picking, then vocals with attitude. And that's just the beginning. Then we get to the chorus and there are funk horns, background vocals added. It just keeps on building and building and getting funkier and funkier. Horn breakdown that if Marlon was here, I'm sure he would chastise me for touting. But you get Nuno doing his thing on the guitar, and I can almost not contain myself just describing this tune. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For my next pick, we move from the funk to, as Sneed would say, funk adjacent. And this was mentioned by Mrs. Bolt. A 70s soul tune was the last thing I expected to hear in 1991. And if you know me, I not only like the funk, I love 70s soul. And it's Lenny Kravitz with It Ain't Over Till It's Over. Lenny is very hit or miss with me. Like, I hate his version of American Woman, but he hits a bases loaded homer here. This is so fresh, even though it references an earlier time in soul music. And it put what was passing for soul for me on the pop charts at this time to shame with all those wonderful 70s soul elements. Very welcome to these ears back in the day. All right, my third pick this go round. And here's a group that is never associated with soul music, but they caught some shit for having a rap passage on this song. It was mentioned before. I have absolutely no problem with this bit of rap interspersed into this tune, but it drove some diehard fans of this band absolutely nuts. It was blasphemy to them, but you got to get over yourselves, because in the spirit of this band to experiment with different approaches, it's to be expected. It's Roll the Bones from Rush. Great rockin' tune, and another song from this year that has a great message. And I'm not gonna get all preachy here like I did with my second win choice, but there is a lot to chew on here lyrically. And if you saw Rush back in the day perform this in concert, they had a really cool animated video that went along with this song, featuring dice, cards, a roulette wheel, and this rapping skeleton head that delivered that rap passage. And I don't know if that was Getty or Neil who voiced the rap part, but I dug it quite a little bit. And I just think it was very refreshing. And I, like Todd, believe this is the best song on this album. It's got some good ones on it, but I love this song. I never tire of it.
Yeah, I almost picked Ghost of a Chance from this album, but at the last minute I went with this one. And I read recently that it is Getty.
Okay.
With his voice.
Oh,
altered.
Is it Getty?
You know,
I think everybody thought it was Neil.
If that's correct, you know.
Yeah,
I actually thought it was Alex, but
So did I.
because it seemed like something he would do. But I've heard.
Yeah, it does. 100%. All right, cool. Was that 3? DC?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's throw it over to Mrs. BM Bolt's husband, BM Bolt.
Yep. So this next one, This was a huge album for this guy. His last really, really good album, I think. And I think this is probably this is probably his last great song as well. I'm going to go on the title track of No More Tears. I love the bass line. I love that riff, that deep, crunchy riff with the pinch harmonics in it. The interlude with the keyboards, the solo, it's got all the elements that made Ozzy so good in the early 80s. Really, he never topped it after this. And he hasn't had a song that good since then, really, in my opinion. He's had a few decent tracks after that, but this was the pinnacle. Well, this was the end of the pinnacle of Ozzy's career, in my opinion. So whatever if that means anything.
All right.
This is the second time I'm going to bring up this singer actually already. Let's go. Temple of the Dog, Say Hello to Heaven. This is one of Chris's best vocal performances, I think. Man, he is just letting it loose at the end of this track. I don't know how he can get that much power, and he hits that certain note, and it's like a trumpet or something blasting it out, I feel like. But pretty solid album too. When this came out, I was like, what the hell is this? I don't even know if I was big on, because like I said, I hadn't even listened to Soundgarden at that time either. They both came out, that same year, and I was just like, wow, this is pretty good stuff. So anyway, great track. All right, this album's been brought up a few times tonight already.
I think it's the winner for tonight.
I'm going with Ghost of a Chance, though. Todd said that was his number 2 pick. I really like that track. I kind of like it when Rush gets a little soft at times, and they do get a little soft in this track. And, I think Geddy's got a really nice voice when he's not screaming at times as well. So, I don't hate this album like some people do. I think it's pretty solid. I mean, it's not one of their best albums, I would say that, but I don't think it's that bad either. So, Dreamline, I like that track as well quite a bit too. So that would have been my second choice, Dreamline. So,
well, Byron, being on various Rush shows, it all depends upon where you come into Rush. So, we've always heard on Rush fans, there's no bad Rush. It just depends upon where you come in on it, I guess.
Wolfpack says it's the most relaxed Rush album. And what could be more relaxed than kicking a skull down the sidewalk?
That's pretty relaxed.
That's pretty footloose and fancy free.
If the cops saw you do that, they might arrest you.
You just might.
I was. Right. It wasn't until Test for Echo I started losing some interest, and then that long break, and I never really got back into him huge again.
Well, Todd, didn't you say something similar to that? When did you lose interest?
Then Test for Echo, which really there isn't anything wrong with it other than it's just not terribly memorable. And I don't think once they decided that they were going to strip back and kind of morph back into what they came from, then I was like, well, that's good for them, but I wanted them to keep going. I wanted them to keep pushing boundaries, and I feel like they stopped.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Thank you, Mr. B.M. Bolt. Let's throw it over to Johnny Metal to get his next 3.
Rock and roll. All right. So 1991, we saw the loss of this singer from this particular band coming from the last proper Queen album, Innuendo. Let's go with the title track where Queen goes Zeppelin with even a little flamenco section in the middle. What a track. Freddie's vocals. Yeah, there you go, Yvonne. There's other songs we could have picked. We could have Show Must Go On, Headlong, I'm Going Slightly Mad. You could pick all kinds of great songs off this album, but I'll tell you, there's something special about that title track. So, we lost a generational talent when Freddie passed away later that year. Yep. Next up, we're going to go into early proggy metal kind of thing to the band that basically it's been said this band wasn't around. Well, Dream Theater, as we know it, probably wouldn't have been around either. So let's do a little something from Fate's Warning, from the Parallels album, a song called Point of View. Very well-known track. Tasty feel of with Jim's riffs. Mark Zonder's just a beast on this song. He's just playing pretty simplistic, but you'd think he was like Neil Peart back behind the thing with everything he was doing. But great track. Ray Alder's vocals here are just wonderful. A great emotional, catchy chorus. Absolute banger of a song. One of my favorites from the Parallels album. Last one. We've seen this album come up once before, but I'm going with a little bit of a different song. Let's go back to Soundgarden with On Bad Motorfinger, but I'm going with Jesus Christ Pose. That is one nasty, grimy, dirty, filthy riff and groove. If I have never, very Sabbathy, maybe Zeppelinish in spots. Cornell just singing his heart out. What a track! But that groove and that just nasty, nasty riff, brutal. There you go. Jesus Christ Pose. That's my last pick for this round.
Damn nature. All right. That's awesome. All right. Thank you, Mr. Metal. Let's throw it over to Mr. Nut.
Okay. Well,
ahead,
I'm gonna continue to rush love here. I'm going with Ghost of a Chance from Roll the Bones. I can't really add anything else than what BM and Todd have already said. Great track, and I love that very memorable guitar line on there from Alex is awesome. Yeah. That's the hook of the song as far as I'm concerned. But big song on AO Arts. Yeah, they were when they went mellow in these albums. I think that they did such a great job because by that point, Geddy's voice had really aged very well. Yeah, once he stopped screaming, and I think like from Hold Your Fire through Roll the Bones, I thought those were the albums where he sang the best. So
yeah,
it's my number 7. Next. Number 6, I'm going with one of my favorite artists. This is off of his U.S. debut album. This is Chris Whitley with Make the Dirt Stick. This is a cool desert blues, and it has a fantastic chorus on it. And his guitar playing on here is very sparse, but it's perfect for the song. But this is a song that just brings you in, just cuts. Wonderful track. This whole album is excellent, but this is my favorite. This is one of the deeper cuts on the album. So my number 5 is, I think this might be her second biggest chart hit, and her first biggest hit was the single before this on this album. This is off of Luck of the Draw. This is Bonnie Raitt, and I Can't Make You Love Me. Now this
holy crap.
Yeah, now this song, now Bonnie Raitt's always been a badass blues guitar player, but she doesn't play guitar in here. Here she kills you with her vocals. And I think it's an excellent vocal on here. And Bruce Hornsby's piano playing on here, very understated, yet very memorable. Awesome track.
Yeah, this track, you hear it, the emotion in her voice, it just hits you right in the back of the neck. Absolutely. I swear to God, your hair just stands right up. It's just absolutely, it's beautiful.
It really is.
Keep it at that. Good pick. I could have picked that as well.
Yes.
But, oh, man. She must have won something for that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she did.
Or something. She had to have.
That's my favorite song of hers.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mine too. Oh yeah.
All right. Was that 3, John?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Thank you for keeping me in line. All right. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we went. I did School of Fish. I did Toad the Wet Sprocket. I did REM. Now we're in 1991, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what came out in 1991?
Albums.
A lot of albums, but one particular album that I love. And if I'm picking my favorite tracks, I could have picked the whole damn thing because this is a perfect record as far as I'm concerned. Todd Evans and I have been down this road. All right, my number 7, I'm going to go with, well, it doesn't matter way I numbered it. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go with Matthew Sweet, Your Sweet Voice, which is the ballad on Girlfriend. Absolutely stunning, emotional.
Good choice.
Excellent. God darn, I can listen to this over and over again.
Todd, is this the album you backed off on because you know Grant would have?
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, me too.
I got some of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Well, we've just begun on this record, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to pick more. My number 6, I'm going to go with Evangeline off of Girlfriend, which is also a stellar track. Again, anything off this record I could pick and play it
pick
over
the whole
and
album.
over again. I damn near did. Evangeline, my number 5, I'm going to go with Winona off of Girlfriend, which is another ballad that.
What are you doing now? It's going to be expensive. I think this vinyl is so expensive to buy.
I've got.
It
I
is,
can't remember.
yeah.
Yeah, but you don't need the vinyl. Damn it, people! Get off of this, Yvonne. You get the original Zoo CD from '91.
Okay.
It's
That
well
is-
mastered.
That is the way it's meant to sound. Is that
Okay.
Zoo Entertainment CD?
But this is one of.
But I'd like to have it on vinyl too.
I've got it on vinyl, but whatever. Now listen, you listen to that Zoo CD. It was mastered very well. Don't forget that this album was recorded. There's no reverb on it. This is the band basically playing live in the studio with minimal overdubs. Okay. When you listen to it and the mastering is very pure, you have it on a good system. It sounds like the band is in the same room with you. It's
got a
great.
really unique sound. It's really powerful.
It was, yeah. And no one else was. See, I'm already on a tangent. No one else was doing records like this that were basically no reverb. Everything's right up front in your face. If there's a wart, you can hear it. You can hear guitar. If you listen to it, you can hear the guitars, the amp buzz. It's cool. It's a very live sounding album. So there you go. There's my next 3, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew Sweet off of Girlfriend. You should not expect them.
I see the vinyl is remastered in 2019, so maybe I can get it. So.
Yeah, but it's not going to sound any better than the CD, which is pure.
But
With
vinyl
good
is
mastering.
vinyl. Vinyl is
All right,
vinyl.
so if you want all the pops and clicks and the noise, go for it there, Yvonne.
I've heard
I'd rather have
the vinyl
Matthew-
masterings of this are very good.
Yeah,
I would rather have Matthew Sweet pristine in my living room playing this album.
I have a
it's
streamer
just-
too.
yeah.
Also, I have a
Keith
streamer.
mentions it in the comments. Intervention Records did a pressing of it, and I think it's double. Keith, is that right?
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, but Intervention
Yeah.
did super audio CDs of
They
lot
did.
of his, and I've got all of them.
This one, yeah.
His bonus track was on it.
I don't think you're going to improve on the super audio CD, but whatever. I'm just a monkey. What do I know? All right, there you
Okay.
go. There's my 3. Let's keep going. We are now back to Yvonne.
And it's
Throw-
going to be 4 records now. Is the last 4 we're going to take? Or
Last
3?
4. Do it, Yvonne.
Okay. This is number 4, and this is, of course, Seal. And this album here is a very, very good album. And the producer of this album here was Trevor Horn. And Trevor Horn, he was also produced Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And yes, and I really like his style. And the song I have choice is Killer. And that was, I think, first produced with Adamski, but they rerun it or made a new version of it. And this is Seal's debut album, the first album from Seal. And it's a really good album, a lot of good songs. So Crazy, and it's a very good album. So Seal is my number 4 on my 1991 top 10 list.
Awesome. Excellent.
Okay, let me see if I have it right now. Okay.
Well, Yvonne's, but the whole thing with vinyl. I bought all my vinyl in the 90s when all you vinyl crazies were getting rid of it. So this is I've said this before. Buy low, kids. It doesn't matter what medium it is.
Yeah.
It's all about the
Okay.
mastering. So there you go. Don't spend $30 on a freaking CD you can get for $1. You have to be out of your gourd.
But this record, I'm gonna show you. No, Grant, you will not. You don't get it on CD, but you only find it on vinyl. This is my number 3. John Evangelis' last album, Page of Life, and I have chosen the track, the album track. And this is a wonderful, wonderful song, and the album is so nice. And you don't find it on streaming, you don't find it on CD, but you find it on vinyl. So that's my number 3, and it's a beautiful. I really like John Evangelis. That combination was so perfect.
That's an excellent album, and I'm a little embarrassed I didn't think to think of something. There's a song on there called "Anyone Can Light a Candle," and it's so beautiful. Yeah, that's a good album.
So, but
Just
you cannot stream it. You cannot stream it.
Just because you mentioned John Anderson, I'm sure Rand Kelly's out there getting all giddy right now.
He's trying to start his computer up really fast.
And everybody knows who John Anderson are, of course. I don't need to mention that, but he's a singer from Yes. And the album that John Anderson made last year was so good, and I recommend it to check that out also. I got that on vinyl too, but it's a beautiful album that John Anderson made last year.
There you go.
So
Excellent.
we're gonna go to more. This is not too heavy rock for you guys, but Foreigner's album here, and Foreigner is one of my favorite group. I think
I've never heard of them.
You have. I have everything of Foreigner, and of course, my favorite album of Foreigner is this Foreigner 4. Of course, this is a special.
Is that a CD?
Now this is we call it DVD audio. So it's yeah. So you see DVD audio. It's a good sound quality. So it's like
it's not like vinyl though, Yvonne.
It's a big.
I got it on vinyl.
Yeah, I have it on vinyl too, but I just want to show you that I have this DVD audio. I have around 3,000 CD also, Grant, so no problem.
I know, Yvonne. You've got it all. That's why I love you.
Yeah. But this record here is this is a song here. I Fight for You. I want to tell you a little bit story because I told you that in the beginning of the show that I met my first wife and my mother to my 2 kids, and I was a little back and forth in 1991 at the end of that year with that woman, and that song I Fight for You I was playing because I was up and on, but we got together and got 2 boys, so I'm so happy. But this is a very good ballad from Foreigner. I really like Foreigner, and this I think this was Mick Jones was his last album, maybe. Mick Jones, Lou Gramm, Rick Wills, and Dennis Elliott was in the Foreigner in this record. They have a lot of lineups, Foreigner, of course. But I think
what?
You have seen yeah.
What? You know what was bad about this album cover is where's the Foreigner logo? You have that logo that's iconic, that's been on every record, but you don't put it on here.
Yeah.
The one time when you need to have some kind of a link to the past because something big has changed, and then you change the logo. I'm with you, Grant.
Oh, that's a good point. That, you know what, Todd, that's probably the reason they changed it.
And the cover is not nice. It's a small.
No, it's crap. That's not a good cover.
But the music is okay.
I've never heard.
My number 1 pick is, of course, Lenny Kravitz. And Lenny Kravitz is one guy. I've seen him live 2 times. And the first time I saw him, it was in Oslo, in a very small arena. It was only maybe 1,000 people, and he was playing in the middle, and we were standing around him. And maybe I've told that story before, but it was so perfect. And Stand By My Woman is also a song that I remember from 1991 when I was having it off and on with my first wife. So this is a really good album, and Lenny Kravitz is still rock and roll. I've bought every record from him, and I hope to see him live maybe this year, because I think he's gonna have a tour. Because the last album was released last year, I think. Yeah. So that was my number 1, Stand By My Woman. So that was my picks for 1991.
Jeff, nice to see you. You're a little late, but we waited for you. But that's okay. We're going to keep going. All right, thank you, Yvonne. That's good. When you go see Lenny, let me know how his abs are.
Yeah,
I'm
has
concerned how
to-
he's holding up.
he's training and he have a lot of dogs, and I think he lives in Hawaii. And they have
What do you
dogs.
mean, Webb? Webb, these year shows go for about an hour and a half. You don't know Webb? I thought you were a hardcore fan. Man, you're disappointing me. All right, thank you, Yvonne. Let's throw it over to Mr. Evans for his final four.
Okay, quick story about Seal. I know we're going long, but I have to say this really quick because whenever I hear about Seal, it reminds me of this. When I lived in Los Angeles in the late '90s, I was trying to figure out what it was called. I went to this famous clothing store on Melrose Avenue, and one of those kind of places where you go in there and you're thinking to yourself, "Look like you belong here" before you get kicked out. And I was going up the escalator. I looked down, and right below me was Seal trying on a white jacket. And I was like, what a great celebrity sighting to have.
That's a moment.
In a men's store trying on a jacket. Of course, he looked great in it because he looks great in everything.
Because he looks good, yeah.
I always just love that. I thought that's my favorite celebrity sighting of all time. But anyway, my number 4 is Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. And everybody knows that I like this band, so they put out an album this year. So of course I was going to pick some. I picked All That Glitters, which is the last track on the album. Really beautiful song. The last 30 seconds of this song is just the melody kind of repeating, and it fades out, and it's just stunning. Really great song. Andy McCluskey made 3 OMD albums, starting with this one, pretty much all by himself. His partner Paul Humphreys wasn't on these albums, and all 3 of them, Sugar Tax, Liberator, and Universal, are all better than they should be, considering he did them by himself. So that's my number 4. My number 3, we've already talked about Out of Time, and somebody in the comments picked. I meant to make a note of who it was. Picked this song, "Belong" by REM. It's got a really cool song. It's got this kind of stream of consciousness spoken word part. And it's just a really kind of a haunting song. It's I don't know if it's my favorite REM song, but it's close. And like we were saying before, you could pick 5 or 6 songs from this album because they all stand out. My number 2 is by Billy Bragg. And the song is called Trust. It's from the album Don't Try This at Home. Thanks for finding the original cover of that, Grant. That's what that CD is meant to look like.
I want the OG.
I could have picked so many songs from this album. This album is really spectacular. And I almost picked Tank Park Salute, my other favorite song from this album. But I picked Trust. And man, Billy Bragg is such a good lyricist. And one of the great things about him is he's very blunt and in your face. So if he has something to say, he's just going to come right out and say it. And he wrote this song because he wanted to write a song about HIV and AIDS. And so the lyrics are about a man who's afraid he's contracted HIV. But Billy also wanted it to have a double meaning. And so it could also be about a woman who's afraid she's pregnant. And it's got some really beautiful, haunting lines. One of the lines is, "I know I ought to find out, but I'm much too scared." And another line is, "I keep looking in the mirror, but it's hard to tell." Really beautiful song, haunting. And the whole album is like that. It's one of those albums that's overly long. It's like 14 tracks, but it should be. It doesn't overstay its welcome. One of my favorite albums of all time, Billy Bragg, Don't Try This at Home. And I picked Trust.
Awesome.
And then my number 1 was always going to be The Show Must Go On by Queen. When I knew we were going to do 91, this was always number 1. I just had to build the rest of the list around it. Just the title and the lyrics and the performance, the fact that the performance is so good when he was so ill, and there's just nothing. I don't think it could be any more inspiring. I don't think it gets any more inspiring than The Show Must Go On. Just absolutely perfect.
It was the last Freddie Mercury album. The other album was made after his death.
Couldn't have picked a better last track.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. He knew he was closing. Oh yeah, 100%.
Makes it all the more poignant than what he was going through. And
may he rest in peace. Great artist. All right. Cool. Thank you, Mr. Evans. Let's throw it over to DC. DC,
All right.
what's your next 4?
Last 4, folks, from me. I mentioned earlier about old favorites making an appearance on this year's list. And when you reach a certain age, even as I was back then, the groups and artists that you held so dear in your youth start to disappear or they lose their mojo. My next pick represents a guy/band who I didn't like his recent output or even pay any attention to when he had a new album coming out. But he had a winner here with this track, and it's Alice Cooper with Feed My Frankenstein. All the classic aspects of an Alice Cooper tune are here. Great riff, catchy melody, and it's got funny and edgy lyrics. And I think the last thing before this that I liked that he did was the song Clones from Flush the Fashion in the early 80s. So you got a decade in between here for one of my all-time favorites, and he came back around. Okay, this band has been mentioned before. Group whose output I genuinely love. And who was this I picked out? This was Johnny Metal. And I could have picked 3 or 4 songs like he mentioned, but it's Mr. Big with Voodoo Kiss from Lean Into It, which is a really great album.
Yep.
Many tremendous songs here. Like I said, I could have picked Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy, Alive and Kickin', Green Tinted 60s Mind. But I decided to go with this. I won't go into any great details. You got lyrics like Full Moon Fever, Black Cats, Mojo, and Chicken Bones. So how could you not like it? For my second and last pick, we have a new group on the scene that had their debut in 91. They are known for their wonderfully written pop rock songs with harmony vocals. So I decided to make a contrary choice, and I picked an instrumental, and it's Is This Music by Teenage Fan Club from Bandwagon-esque. The song starts with a blustery bass line. Before you get some big country-styled guitar lines, can they come bursting through. Melodic guitar patterns take the place of vocals here. And like you said, Grant, the whole album is great. But I picked one song out of there for its uniqueness. Now we come full circle, and I stand with Yvonne, another band that I love since the 70s. They changed lead singers, and the band's overall approach changed quite a bit too. Less sexual, grindy, and showboaty, and now more pensive and reflective. Also more keyboard-driven than their previous incarnation. It's the Sammy-led Van Halen with Right Now. And everything that Yvonne said, I second. It's a cautionary tale that touts seizing the day. There may be no tomorrow. And old DC is getting downright reflective about 1991 in 2025. So that's
Very
it.
nice. Super. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Toontime. Like Webb says, DC knows. But slogan says horrible album cover.
Ooh, I like it.
Slogan knows I don't like it.
I like it.
I'm not sure if there's really any really great Van Halen album covers.
Women and Children First is kind of cool.
I think 5150 is good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I didn't like that Foreigner one that was out there. That's like 101 graphic design. You'd get an F for that. That's horrible.
So you like this, DC. What about this from a graphic design point do you like about it?
I like the leatherine treatment. The logo still is, you're able to read it. And even with my aged eyes, I can tell what the title of the album is. I like it. I like it.
I always thought it was supposed to look like a basketball, but I couldn't figure out what that could possibly mean.
It does look like a basketball.
Well, if you play the game, you could have a lot of carnal knowledge if you're good.
All right.
And
Well,
get
I don't think the Teenage Fan Club album.
No, the Teenage Fan Club album is another
good.
graphic design 101 D-.
Yeah, so you're right.
But a great album. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. It does look like a football. All right, cool. Thank you, DC. Excellent work. Let's throw it over to Mr. BM Bolt and see what his final four are. I don't hear you, Mr. BM Bolt.
You are muted.
Are you muted?
It's been a while since I've talked, so I had muted it.
Oh God! Well, he's used
The
to having
missus
to
was
stay.
chewing him out for his picks.
Yeah.
I bet. gotta be
So,
careful.
yeah, it seems like every time these guys put out an album, I pick something off of the album that came out that year. And so we're going to go ahead and pick something off of Brilliant's Holidays in Eden. This album, they kind of went a little more commercial, I guess, or more accessible, less proggy is how I'll phrase it. I really like Dry Land. I believe that was a cover, or that was from a previous band that Hogarth was in. Todd probably can correct me on that.
Yeah, it's from a band that he was in called How We Live. An album that didn't come out in the States. So was No One Can from that same project. From what I've heard, he was having a little bit of writer's block during this period.
Yeah. But you know, Dry Land's a great track. It's got the shimmering guitars to it. Just a real lovely ballad. I almost went with what was my note here? I almost went with Waiting to Happen as well. I love that track. So
That's a great one.
it's a very good album. You know, people kind of rag on it a little bit because it's not as proggy as the other stuff, but I kind of
It's held up well.
Yeah, it has. Speaking of albums that get a lot of abuse, I seem to be picking a lot of songs off of this band's albums lately too. I'm going to go off of the Union album.
Oh,
I really like the Raven stuff on here. The rest of it,
Yeah.
But the problem with this album, I didn't think there was enough Raven material on it. I think there's 4 songs maybe. Yeah, I'm going with Miracle of Life.
This is a good song. It's a really good song.
I mentioned this before on the Raven album. Was that 90? How I think I picked the title track. He just likes to do these extended intros, instrumental intros, which I love. And it's a really good song. I almost went with Lift Me Up. I like that track as well. Hell,
I like Shock to the System from that album. I think that's
that was not a Trevor song though, right?
It's not a Trevor song, no.
Right. Yeah, there was.
It's the only one that's not a Trevor song that I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you know that Trevor Rabin's actually playing on it?
Well, with
You can tell.
Union, it's tough because there a bazillion people played on Union, but you
Yeah,
can't
a lot
tell
of studio
on,
musicians.
on Trevor's
played
song,
on
you
his
can
stuff.
tell. Yeah.
Even Saving My Heart was a nice little ballad. So yeah.
I bet
Go
you
with-
bought that CD for $1 there, BM.
I don't know, it's got a cutout, so it's probably a promo. I don't know what I gave.
That
for
would
it,
be a promo, probably.
but yeah,
Well,
I've
Angie
had it
Allen's
forever. I probably gave $5 for it. I bought it a long time ago. What?
Angie, nice to see you.
Hi, Angie.
All right.
Okay, I got 2 more here.
Go ahead.
I don't think anybody's. I think somebody commented on this album, but nobody in the show has said anything about it. Tom Petty. I'm gonna go with the title track, "Into the Great Wide Open."
Good song.
Could have gone with "Learning to Fly." You could go with a lot of tracks on the Petty album, though. You know, even "Out in the Cold's" a good rocker. Tom wrote so many great songs, but this one, it just tells a really cool story. I think about Eddie. You know, when he moves to California and has a good life. Well, you know
what? I didn't
it's
see
the good and
Rand.
bad about moving to California, right?
I thought Rand would have popped up when you mentioned Yes, because that's the greatest Yes album of all time.
He was certainly scratching his ears.
I know he was. Oh,
All
wait
right.
a minute. Whoa, ladies and gentlemen. Stephanie's finally a BM pick that I like. You better watch yourself, Byron.
I got one for her that she likes. That's better than none.
All right. Keep going.
And I seem to bring up this guy once in a while as well. I'm gonna go. I don't know if many of you have heard this. I'm sure some of you have, though. It's the title track from Ronnie Montrose, "Mutatis Mutandis." Anybody know that one?
I'm sure that's Stephanie's favorite.
No, he's got this nasty lick, this real heavy, dirty lick, and it's basically instrumental, except for he has these women singing mutandis, more of almost like a chant. But yeah, it's got a real dirty, just
Very dirty,
dirty riff, that heavy. And just a lot of slide playing going on that track. Real good song. So that's my last pick.
What is this? Billy May said, "Mrs. B and Bolt, your husband owes me money."
Oh,
well, then that would be Pumping Vinyl if he's saying that. I don't owe him any money, so.
Oh, you just never know what Pumping Vinyl's going to masquerade as. You just never know.
I mean, I know him, but I don't owe him any money that I'm aware of. So
yeah.
Well, let's move on.
Well, we'll just thank him for dropping in last night.
Yeah, we won't even thank him for that.
Yeah.
Oh
All right. Matt, Sweet Girlfriend. Oh, Jay, you've missed it. I did 3 songs from Girlfriend. I'm not even done yet. All right. Go ahead, Johnny Metal. You are up.
all right. So this album's been brought up. It came out in 1991, but for whatever reason, they waited a whole year or so until they released it as a single. I don't get that logic, but this is what you get when grunge bands collide. And a little Temple of the Dog, but let's go with the Hunger Strike with the duet vocal with Eddie Vedder. And that's just good. It's solid. It's such a solid track. I was part of a group of friends, and we would play this in the car, and I took Chris Cornell's vocals, and one of the girls had a lower voice, and she really did a fantastic Eddie Vedder. But a great track. Love the guitar lines in this song. Another album that's been talked a little bit about, but I'm not going with the song y'all picked because this is Johnny Metal. I can't do that.
No.
I'm going to go with from Van Halen the song Judgment Day. I just thought that was I love the punchiness and just the urgency of that song. There was just something very, very rocking about that track. So that was probably always one of my favorite. I mean, Pound Cake and Spanked are fun too, but there was always something about Judgment Day I always thought was nice and punchy. Hopefully maybe we'll see something from this band. I kind of doubt it, but since the band doesn't want to get this guy back in the singer department, which I don't blame him, let's go with Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. I gotta love that title track. That song just comes right in, just basically says, "Hey, this ain't your I remember you, Skid Row," and pretty much kicks you in the teeth and just keeps kicking. So great track off that. My last one, probably one of the staple songs of the grunge bands, from an album that for me does absolutely no wrong, but then the rest of their catalog bores me to tears. From the 10 album, Jeremy. I mean, come on. Such a simplistic riff, but they make that sound so freaking heavy. It's such a heavy lyrical tune because of what the subject matter's about. But I just don't think Eddie ever sounded any more emotive and to a point where it was chilling, in my opinion. Great track, great classic video. I was in a group of friends that loved a lot of these Seattle bands, and that's what I was listening to a lot in 1991. So, but yeah, I mean, this is an album I could have picked almost anything from, but Jeremy was always the one that stood out for me. So,
you've redeemed yourself with your metal flag, Johnny.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
Because everybody says you're nailing it. So there you go. Cool. All right. Thank you, Mr. Metal. Let's throw it over to Mr. Nut. All right, John, you got it. What's your last 4?
Okay, thanks, Grant. Number 4, it's been mentioned a few times already tonight. The Show Must Go On by Queen. Last track on Innuendo, last album released during Freddie's lifetime. It's one of the great album closers, in my opinion, and based on what happened after about 6 months after this was released, it was very poignant song, and yes, it's everything that what everyone has said. It's been very appropriate. So number 3, I'm going with Live and the opening track off of Mental Jewelry. Pain Lies on the Riverside. Thank you,
Very
guys.
nice.
It's on my honorable mention list.
Nice.
I'm just glad Live got a mention. That's good.
Yeah. And Patrick
Great bass on it.
Dahlheimer's bass on this is fantastic. And he didn't do this on the future albums. You didn't hear any of this funk bass on Throwing Copper or everything that came out after. But this song is wonderful. It's just a very driving track, very spiritual, excellent. Everything that's great about Live. My number 3, Pain Lies on the Riverside by Live. Number 2. This is off of their second album. I don't know if this band's ever been mentioned on our top 10 tracks here on Grant's Rock Warehouse, but
Nope.
Blues Traveler, and this song's called Onslaught. Now, if you only know Blues Traveler for the hits, check out this song. This song is heavy as sin. Very heavy. Bobby Sheehan was the bass player in the band, and he was a wicked bass player. Very, very busy. He was like the heavy metal guy in the band, and a lot of people say once Bobby died, Blues Traveler were never the same. But this is my favorite album by them, but this is like the quasi-opening track. And this is just raging. It is heavy. And the bridge in this is sick. Killer. And of course, you got John Popper here, and the harmonica playing is wicked. The guitar lines here are killer. But this just takes you on a ride for 6 minutes. Awesome track. Blues Traveler, Onslaught. Check out the track if you've never heard it, because it is wickedly heavy. My number one.
I want to say, John, real quick.
Sure.
I have never, we're talking 91.
Mhm.
I have never, ever seen this CD ever in the bins. I have never seen it before in my life.
I bought this as a new release in 91. And there was actually limited editions. I think you could still find them. There was a 2 CD version, and it had a live EP, which had a few songs off here, and had Crystal Flame on here. And then the last song, Mountain Cry, they have Carlos Santana guesting on it. And Mountain Cry on this album, you have Greg Allman doing vocals with John Popper. This is a great album.
Why do I think I'm gonna? I feel like I'm gonna spend money again, John.
Oh,
but you know what? I don't know if it hurt them. What was the album panel that came out in the mid '90s that sold a buku amount of CDs, and then you saw them in the dollar bins forever? What was?
It was called Four. Yeah, it was for fourth.
What year was that? What year was that? Like 94?
94.
Do you think that might have had something to do? Maybe people were burned out on Blues Traveler because you couldn't get away from it in 94. I'm just throwing it out there.
It was because those first 3 albums, they had a strong cult following. The 90s hippie generation, if you want to call it that, really loved Blues Traveler, but then they found a hook, no pun intended, on this song Hook and on Runaround, and the rest of the album's kind of the same as the first 3 albums. You know, it's there's some slow ballads on there, but there's some great hippie anthems as well. But there was those 2 hits that really sold that album, and now it's like one of the easiest albums to buy used. But yeah, but then they didn't have the hooks after that. Although the next album was very, very good, they didn't have anything on it that was nearly as catchy as those songs. And then theirs started falling pretty quick, although they still had that cult following. Kind of like Spin Doctors. Because
that second album didn't do anything, did it?
Yeah, it went platinum, but the Turn It Upside Down, but that was a lot of that was based on momentum.
Yeah.
But the first 5 albums by Blues Traveler, I think, are all very good. And the first 2, I think, are the best. So that's my number 2. Yeah, and thanks. And number 1, this is from my favorite album from 1991. And this album is a tour de force. And this is when the band really peaked, too. And they were just building a momentum. And this album is I'll go all over the place genre wise, but the funk is at the core. And I'm talking about Fishbone, and this is the last track off of the Reality Mass Surroundings called Sunless Saturday. This is like joyous yet relentless, if I could call it that, because it's got a very positive message, but it's a very fast-paced song. Wonderful bridge on it. The guitar is just chugging along, and then you've got that wonderful trumpet solo at the end, right when the song is fading out. Then this trumpet comes in from the ashes, and it always brings a tear to my eye every time I hear the end of that song. It's a perfect way to end an album. But they're going with hitting rap, they're hitting ska, they're hitting metal, they're hitting soul all over this. This whole album is killer. Yes, there's a few F-bombs here and there on the album when they go into more topical material, but this album is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. My favorite album from '91. And it debuted really high on Billboard, then it dropped like a stone. But if you go on YouTube, you could check out their performance on Saturday Night Live for the two songs off this album, and one of them was Sunless Saturday. Masterful. Excellent. So that's my number one, Sunless Saturday.
All right, cool. Excellent. Well, I'll try to wrap this up early, and then we can do some honorables, and then Yvonne needs to make an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. So I left off with Winona. Jesus. My next pick, I'm going to go with I've Been Waiting off Girlfriend because it's phenomenal. The whole record is my favorite. It's like the best. Well, Todd and I looked at the whole Matthew Sweet catalog. We all listen to this stuff differently, but this is still, I think, the peak. So I went with I've Been Waiting from Girlfriend. This is another song that I think is kind of great. This band kind of, the singer or the guitar player ended up committing suicide, but they did put out a couple records, but those records are really, really good in that quote unquote power pop realm. I'm going to go with Material Issue with Diane off of International Pop Overthrow. It's one of those CDs you can find in the cheapy bins if you look, but it's power pop greatness as far as I'm concerned. Now, not the whole thing's not power pop, but quite a bit of it is. So, they put out a couple records. Check that out. All right, my next pick. Someone had mentioned the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, I'm picking a different song because BM Bolt is smiling.
I got an honorable mention of theirs. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to go with Give It Away off Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I cannot I can listen to this track over and over, but I think the CD could be remastered to sound better. I don't think the CD sounds particularly good, so you might want the vinyl remaster of it. It's all hit and miss. Don't go for the medium, go for the mastering. But the original CD is kind of, it's okay. It seems kind of lifeless. But this track, the bass playing by Flea, it's got a lot of energy. John's guitar playing on this is phenomenal. I like it. I don't think any women that I know like it. I think dudes kind of like it, but no woman likes this track. I still like it. I could play it over and over again, and whenever I play it, I just go, yes. My next pick, this isn't really my number one, but it's my last pick. I'm going to go with Crowded House off of Woodface, Fall at Your Feet. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Emotional. You've got that Mitchell Froome production on here. The production is crisp. You can still play this and go, well, this doesn't sound dated at all. The whole record is good, but the whole Crowded House catalog, I think, that stretch of those first 4 albums, I don't think they could do any wrong. I'll leave it at that. It's just absolutely beautiful track. And I always love what Mitchell Froome does. Like if you listen to like Elvis Costello Spike, it has that same tonality as this record. I like what Mitchell brought to Spike. I really like it. Or we could even go further. Or Gamma when he was playing keyboards. He didn't produce that though. But Suzanne Vega.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Phenomenal producer. I like what he's brought to the music industry. Anyway, that's my final pick. I'm going to throw it out to the panel real quick. Anybody have? We'll just go in the same order. Yvonne, do you have any honorables? And you do have an announcement that I want you to.
Yeah,
to share
I
with
can
me.
mention you have this graphic on this album here. That was
Yeah.
the big album, of course. And this is
100%.
the original from '91, and this is the remaster from 2021 with an extra single also. So I'm not open it, but I didn't like this grunge music, but of course Nirvana was so big in 1991. So, but the most popular song in 1991 in Norway was of course this song "Everything I Do It for You" from Bryan Adams, and that's from the Robin Hood movie.
Yeah.
That was I think it was number one in UK, maybe 12 or 13 weeks in a row. So I have this song also on CD on the CD single. So I'm just gonna mention before I'm gonna have this announcement. This is Joyrider with Roxette. It's a 12-inch, very popular song. Emotion was the song that I was dancing when I met my first wife with Mariah Carey. Richard Mark had a big hit with this Hazard. And this is Know That I Found Love with Heavy D and the Boys, a good fun song. And Mad About You with Sting, his solo album was good from 1991. And Should I Stay or Should I Go with Clash from 1991. This is the 12-inch version of it.
Very nice.
But if people want to listen to my top 10 list, you can go on my channel. I have made 10 small videos with all the songs. I have info about the songs, and I play them all over also, so you can listen to the songs also. So that was my announcement from Ivan Music Man.
There you go. Check out his channel, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, subscribe, leave a thumbs up while you're at it. All right, cool. Todd, you got any honorables?
Yeah, I'll go real fast. Marillion, Cover My Eyes from Holidays Eden was my number 11. It got cut. Dire Straits, On Every Street. I also could have picked How Long from that album. I love On Every Street. Crowded House, Fall at Your Feet. I had as well as a runner up. Matthew Sweet, I've Been Waiting. Elvis Costello, So Like Candy, co-written with Paul McCartney from Mighty Like a Rose. And I had Right Now by Van Halen as an honorable.
Awesome. Cool. Excellent. All right. DC, what you got? Got any honorables?
Okay, I'll make it quick. I'm glad that, and I held off on Matthew Sweet because I knew that would be covered by Grant. And also, I'm glad Nirvana finally got mentioned. You could have picked for me Come As You Are or Lithium. I like those two. The Smithereens with Blow Up, Too Much Passion or Over and Over Again are great. And I'll throw out Joni Mitchell, Night Ride Home, title track. Love that quite a bit. That's it for me.
All right, Wolfpack, just to let you know, there are other people on this panel that can back me up. We did a U2 series on Ryan Gavalier's channel several years ago that when we were first starting out doing shows, there was plenty of YouTube love for like 6 months.
The end. We went all the way to the end, I think.
We went all the way to the end. That's why I don't have to cover it because we've already done it. So
and I didn't pick anything from
see the videos
because I thought everybody else would.
You can't see the videos anymore because I think Ryan kind of killed his.
Did he take him down?
He took him down?
He took him down.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for God's sakes. Now you can't see him.
We do.
I should have said, Ryan, at least I'll post him on my channel. Oh, he took him down?
Yeah.
Those were
Well,
early stuff. Ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen, that's, you're going, well, you guys have been on for an hour and 43 minutes. The U2 episodes, we would do it. We'd do 2 albums and we talk for 3 hours.
Yes.
Yep.
We had
You can visibly see us falling asleep too. So
now that,
literally, I fell asleep during it.
that's
I'm
really
like
sad
this.
that he took those down because now the world will never know how much I hate Zooropa.
Why would he take them down?
Right.
He basically got off social media altogether, and I think it just whatever email was connected to the channel, he must have nuked it too. And so
all
there's
I
haven't
know
heard
is
from
once
him in
not
2
much out
years.
there.
I haven't either. I know once he got that girlfriend, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the end of that was the end of Ryan. See you, Ryan. That was the only thing he was motivated by that. That was the only thing he cared about. So, oh wow, maybe I can get those episodes and I can throw them on my channel. I don't know. I'll contact him.
Get the rights.
Even exist. I'll license them from him because you have to see this. You have to see these YouTube episodes because they go on forever. All right. Anyway, jeez, what a nightmare those were. Ryan found his show. Oh no, so to speak. All right. Who's next? I was on a
I
tangent.
think I'm next.
All right, BM, go.
Right. Like John, the music that mentioned, Live, Pain Lies on the Riverside. First time I ever heard that, I was watching it on MTV. I was like, who the hell is this? But this is really good. But loved it. So this, Speak of the Devil, I'm going to go with U2 1. I like that. I actually think I prefer Warren Haynes' acoustic version of it, though. Maybe you ever heard him do that.
It's a nice
Really
version.
good.
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna go Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I'm gonna go Soul to Squeeze. It's a soundtrack song. It's a little odd for them. It's kind of mellow. A little bit of slide guitar and a little bit of rapping, but not too much. I'll go another oddball. Pearl Jam, Yellow Ledbetter. Was that a B-side? I think.
Well, I know it was on a CD single. What was it the B-side of? Like
I think Jeremy,
maybe Jeremy. I think
it's a real Hendrix track.
But they still play that here, at least in Central Ohio on the FM Rock radio station. They still play it.
This album's got a lot of talk tonight. Somebody commented it, but nobody else has mentioned it. I'm going to go REM Texarkana.
Nice.
Like that track.
Oh, yeah.
Van Halen, I'm going to go Top of the World. I like that one. And then no one's mentioned this band that I can remember, or guitars. Eric Gales. I'm going to go either Resurrection or Sign of the Storm. Both are really good tracks. Got a lot of airplay here when it first came out. So
here too.
I used to think it really sounded like Trower. I don't think it sounds like Trower that much anymore now in retrospect, but at the time I thought it did. So anyway, that's it.
All right, cool. Mr. Metal, what you got?
All right. Well, y'all mentioned right now all the time. I'm going to go with a different right now, right here, right now from Jesus Jones.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jesus Jones.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And I'm surprised nobody picked this one. How about Rhythm of My Heart from Rod Stewart?
Nice.
I always thought that was a great track. Let's see. Maybe see what else did I have here. Everything About You. Let's go with a Little Ugly Kid Joe just for fun. If Ken White is still watching, I'm going to give him a few good ones here. How about a song from a band called Bride called Hired Gun? I hope you and Jesus have it all worked out. Great track. Let's see. Dog's Breakfast from a band called Tourniquet. This song actually had a little bit of controversy. For us, for the Christian folks. How about Baby Baby from Amy Grant?
Nice.
So we're gonna throw that out there. So that's some of my honorables.
Excellent. Holy crap. Man, you come to the Warehouse for variety, ladies and gentlemen, and there's a lot of variety. Let's throw it over to Mr. Nutt. John, you got anything?
Yes, I do. Smithereens, Too Much Passion. Excellent. Metallica, Sad But True. I saw them 8 days ago. They still destroy live. Awesome. Nirvana, Breed from Nevermind. Pearl Jam from 10, Black. Spin Doctors. Love that album, Pocket Full of Kryptonite, so much. I'm going with the closer, Shinbone Alley, Hard to Exist. Excellent closer. Tribe Called Quest from the Low End Theory. We've Got Jazz. Wonderful album. And Soundgarden, Rusty Cage.
Yes.
All right. Cool. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if Hudson Valley Squares has started, but it should be getting close. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I love doing these year shows because it's always fun because this whole panel always hits it out of the park and we have so much variety. And all we're here to do is to turn you on to stuff. That is our whole sole purpose. So I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank the panel, Johnny Metal, BM Bolt, DC Toontime, Todd Evans, Yvonne, the Music Man, and John, the Music Man. All right. Well, have fun with Hudson Valley Squares. We will be back. I haven't set on any dates, but I'm assuming we'll do this
in a month,
probably a month from now when Hudson Valley Squares is going on. So hopefully everybody can come back for 1992. For me, 91 was great. I didn't have any problem with 91, but 92, we'll see how it goes.
I was shocked
So,
at
all
how
right.
easy 91 was, to be honest.
91 was easy. Of course, I picked everything off of Matthew Sweet, so I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
You're your Warehouse version of Jamie Lee Laszlo. Come on now.
100%. Only he would be Pat Benatar, but
exactly.
It is what it is. All right, panel. I will be in touch. I'll throw out. I hit the wrong button. All right, panel. Thanks for doing this tonight. I will throw out a date for 1992. So I'm assuming it'll be a month from today. So, all right, or the first Monday of the month. All right. See everybody. Keep it clean and check out everybody's channel here and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.